We have been feeding you little tidbits about things happening on the national level, and of course we're following very closely the Allen and Levine race here in the North Bay. And one of the people who's been helping us track that is Bruce Raful, who joins us on the set now to give us a little insight into how this is all breaking. Bruce, are you surprised at how close this has been?
Well, I'm very surprised. All of the polling data that's been done by both campaigns have shown this to be a close race. And we just got some new numbers in from both Sonoma and Marin County. At the moment, 60% of the Sonoma County, the 10th district portion of Sonoma County is reporting, and the race between the two of them is very close. It's 1%. And Dick, as you correctly mentioned, Allen needs to do a lot better than that, because with new numbers now just in from Marin County, with 25% of all of Marin County votes counted, Mark Levine has 52.5% of the vote, and Michael Allen has 47.5% of the vote. There's a 2,000 vote difference there. And so if those numbers hold, then Mark Levine would be the next member of the Assembly from Marin and Sonoma County.
We are nowhere near
not even
calling
close.
this right. Not even close.
Well, this is a close. It may not even get decided tonight in any meaningful way.
That's true.
That's right.
True.
That's right. But the big deal to me is I see this race not as so personal about Levine and Allen. I see it as Allen symbolizing, frankly, the Democratic majority in Sacramento. These are two Democrats running against each other.
Right.
This is not a Republican-Democratic race. So it's a free call for people in district.
And it's pretty clearly a young Turk and a member of the old guard.
Yes, though the member of the old guard is a Labor Democrat, and the young Turk is probably, I've described in my column, as more of a business-oriented Democrat. Would that be, well?
Oh, I think that's probably fair to say. The interesting thing about it is that there's also similar races in other parts of the state. There's a great race in Santa Monica where the mayor of Santa Monica, who's a Democrat, is running against Betsy Butler, who's also a Democrat and the handpicked candidate of the Assembly Speaker. And what was happening here is being replicated in Santa Monica. There's also, as you know, a $13 million campaign in the congressional district for Howard Berman and Brad Sherman.
No issues, though.
There are no issues, and it's all about personality, and that you're going to see that in more and more races when there's in the top two system. There's also we also have results in from the Ami-Bera.
Oh yeah, what's the story?
And they're dead even, dead even. So the races that people expected to be close, they are close.
Pete Stark.
Well, we're going to look at that. They're a little bit slow in reporting in contrast, and it's a multi-county district, so we'll be looking at that. The interesting thing to see is that from a broader perspective, what's going to happen now in the state assembly? Will John Perez continue to be the speaker?
If he loses Allen, you mean?
If he loses Allen, if he loses in Santa Monica, if there's a couple of upsets.
He was here yesterday, wasn't he?
He was in San Rafael yesterday. What will happen to Perez as speaker? He's termed out anyway in 2 years. Will there be a coup come December 1st with some of the new members of the Assembly?
Is there the slightest possibility that the legislature would get the message that the voters apparently are trying to give them, that they're not happy with the status quo?
Well, look at all you have to do is look at the results of Proposition 30, which is being killed. People are not happy with Sacramento, and even if you're a Democrat in a heavily Democratic district, you need to understand that they're sending you back to Sacramento to do some work, not play around.
Have you been also looking at the national picture? And I'm
looking
wondering
at
if
the
there's a
national
coattail effect of the Obama victory is looking stronger than a lot of people expected.
You know, Tip O'Neill was right.
All
of politics is local. The Indiana U.S. Senate seat should have never gone to a Democrat, and it did because the Republican ran a terrible race. The Missouri U.S. Senate race should have never gone to a Democrat, but the Republican ran a terrible race. At some point after this election, national Republicans are going to have to think about how their party is going to be represented to the electorate.
But they did this 2 years ago in Nevada and Delaware.
Well, at some point...
Is this a repudiation of the Tea Party?
I don't think so, but I think the leadership of the Republican Party needs to regain control of the party apparatus, because they cannot continue to field bad candidates and expect to win.
But while looks like the Republicans have suffered something of a setback in the Senate, certainly they haven't gained control. That's not going to happen. But oddly, in the House, it looks like they're picking up some seats.
They are.
And Nancy Pelosi's whole strategy fizzled.
Right.
And my opinion, and I base this only upon knowing politics and a hunch, I see Nancy Pelosi not running for re-election in 2 years.
Well, that's a good possibility. You know, here's the classic
For the House, for
the House.
retiring.
Here's what I think is the classic example of how the Republicans ought to run a campaign. In Utah, they redistricted their congressional districts, and a Democrat got thrown into Jim Matheson got thrown into a Republican district, and the Republicans recruited in Utah, a heavily Mormon state, a black woman to be their nominee.
Is she a Mormon?
She's not a Mormon.
Okay.
She's going to Congress.
Oh, she won.
Yeah, she's going to Congress. That's what the Republicans need to do on a national basis, get better candidates.
Biggest surprise for you today?
Well, you know, the reality of life is that the Obama folks have been working on this election for about 3 years, and they are so well organized. They did a fabulous job in spinning Mitt Romney back in May and April in the battleground states. And if you look at the demographics, this race was never going to be that close because in the key states, Ohio, he won going away.
Let me just say, you just said something I have to observe. You said this race was never going to be that close. There is a wonderful thing in politics, and we've all at this table have followed politics for decades, called hindsight. Personally, I didn't see it that close. I saw it closer. I'm surprised that Obama's doing as well as he's doing. I'm not ashamed of saying, when I counted the votes, I didn't see it that way.
The reason I saw it that way was because Obama was about organization, and Romney was about recapturing the Republican spirit, the Ronald Reagan spirit. People aren't interested in that. They want to know about jobs and the economy, and they want that person-to-person contact. I just think they got out organized, and I predict in hindsight, when the book about this campaign is written, you will find that David Axelrod and all of his friends were far better organized than Mitt Romney's folks.
Well, the results are the results.
Right.
The results.
But this was the big money year, and it looks like the big money didn't actually deliver. That there was some populist backlash, perhaps.
I think the only race where I think it was there was one race where I think it was maybe not going to be so close, but in places like Virginia, Tim Kaine won a U.S. Senate seat. In Wisconsin, there's the first gay woman is going to be elected to the U.S. Senate from Wisconsin. The money just didn't seem to matter that much.
The racial breakdown is important. The Romney, I suspect the final vote will show, won the white vote.
Right, but did he clear 65%?
Well, no, but he won the white vote.
Right.
And what you're seeing is, particularly with the Hispanic community, an increasing vote. And you know, I'll say this for the Bush family. They have always said the Republicans need to make a real pitch and make inroads with
Right.
the Hispanics, and that's been rejected by too many.
Right. Well, the deal with the national electorate is every 4 years is becoming about 4 to 5% more minority oriented, and if the Republicans are serious about regaining control of the presidency, they're going to have to stop getting away from the social issues and start talking about economic issues because that's their strength.